has been a great honor and privilege, along with my colleagues, to look at our standing orders in line with the terms of reference, essentially to enhance the effectiveness and efficacy of the processes and procedures of enacting legislation in the House, to update the standing orders, and to bring it in line with global best practices. And in doing this, we have consulted existing documents. We've looked at the standing orders of other parliaments, especially in Africa and beyond. And we've also consulted with some former members of the House who, on reflection, had a lot to offer. We received memoranda from other colleagues as well. If you look at the document before you, you will see a column for existing provisions in the standing orders. And the next column, where applicable, represents the recommendations that we have made to make our standing orders up to date, more effective, more efficient, and more able to guide us in making legislation for the country. I will not bore you by going into specific examples. The document is before you, and I want to move that we consider the document as presented.
Honorable Julius, what's the amendment of the para page?
Mr. Speaker, Honorable
Recommendation number 2, carried. Okay, no, Honorable Minority Leader, Honorable Ndudi.
Haven't assembled the clerk to National Assembly. There should be clerk to National Assembly or the deputy national clerk of National Assembly, the deputy clerk of National Assembly. The reason is because often and on, we find ourselves sitting the whole day waiting for the clerk to have finished from Senate before coming here to inaugurate the members. And I'm of the opinion that since there is a provision for deputy clerk of National Assembly, it should be inserted here, so that instead of us waiting for Senate to finish, the deputy clerk should be able to inaugurate the House of Reps while they are doing Senate simultaneously.
The election.
Wherever we have the clerk for the purpose of inaugurating members, wherever we have the clerk, we should also say, or deputy clerk of National Assembly.
Mr. Chairman.
The election. Yes, I agree with you about the deputy clerk anywhere you find the clerk. But when it comes to the election itself, I think the Constitution, Clerk, do you have the Constitution? Does anybody have it? Can anybody read the provision of the Constitution if I'm correct? Section 60 of the Constitution allows the House to regulate itself. And I don't see anything in the Constitution that contradicts that regulation. So, Honorable Kruka, you want a second?
Sir, I have an observation, sir. So nobody told me. Have you agreed on what? I have an opinion. Because, Mr. Chairman, from my understanding, since we are in the committee of the whole, I may have the protection of the chairman to talk. Mr. Chairman, I think there is a wisdom in having one clerk presiding on the inauguration of the 2 chambers of the National Assembly. One, it may in one way or the other provide a platform to achieve federal character. Sometimes, the outcome of the election of presiding officers in the Senate determines what actually happened here. And it promotes peace, unity of this country. This is my position. I stand to be corrected. Yes, thank you very much for saying no. Another thing, the president is allowed to cite different times for the inauguration of the House. In the proclamation, he may say 10 a.m. in the Senate and maybe 2 p.m. in House of Representatives. There's nothing wrong with that. So this is my opinion. I stand to be corrected.
Honorable Chairman, honorable colleagues, I am Kiruka Oye George. I represent the people of Isuwa Tumulo, Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. I rise to second the amendment as moved by Minority Leader. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. So order 2 is carried. Carried. Three, carried. Okay, second amendment, carried. Okay, Honorable Side.
Thank you. Election of presiding officers. That is 3 sub 2. It says voting shall be conducted by the clerk. But the original one says voting by secret ballot. Mr. Speaker, why I raise the issue is simple. Now we are giving a lot of discretionary power to the clerk to decide the pattern of voting. While we are alive here, making a rule for ourselves, we should either say whether it's going to be secret or open ballot system. Is either we agree on any of them, better off than giving a discretionary power to a bureaucrat while we're here. So I feel that we should retain the original one that is in existence. I so submit.
Issue of methodology of voting, you've already addressed that.
So that it is incumbent on us to retain the existing one that gave us a direction of where we're going, instead of leaving it to the hands of the civil servant to determine whether it must be secret or an open. So you are now giving a lot of power to a clerk who will use a discretionary power to do anything. That's what I feel that we should, the existing one should be retained.
Really available, then it would be by open secret ballot. But what this section is, you are looking at 5.3.
Yep.
The original rule that we have specified secret ballot. Now the new amendment being brought is specifying open ballot by a member standing up to announce whom he or she is voting for. That's every member voting. Every member voting shall name clearly the candidate of his choice. This is it. That's what this rule is saying. That's what the amendment is saying.
That's the way I...
Conducting the election, the direction on what step he should take at that particular point in time, he will divide the House. Division and tell us, division will take place, then the next item is the election. And the election is defined, members voting shall name clearly the candidate of their choice at that particular point. Mr. A should go to this side. Those that are going to Mr. B should go to this side. And in the process, they tell us those who propose and seconded will take the count for the voting. That is what it means. Division is open.
I honestly, and in the open, the candidate of his choice. Just add and in the open.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
People can say, a member can say that his franchise has been breached. A member can say that his franchise has been breached because there are already existing statutes that have actually specified secret ballot system. Yeah, statutes, your electoral law. It's one of the statutes you passed. I'm coming, that specify clearly that it must be a secret open ballot system, which is what we are doing already. Mr. Speaker has allowed me to stop. I think I should be allowed. Mr. Chairman, I think I need to be protected on this ground. I am not misleading. Even what was proposed was not well guided, really proposed. Why I'm saying so is this. It is ambiguous. Now, this particular issue is ambiguous. We are not donating power to a civil servant to have a high discretionary power to organize the election.
Who they want to vote for. Now the electoral law that you talk about is applicable to what? The general elections and primaries, right? It's got nothing to do with the House. The electoral law has nothing to do with the House. So let's just put this question. Can somebody move for the amendment for the shall name clearly and in the open the candidate of his choice?
We have 3-1, which says by electronic voting, or, so what he's trying to say is that we should make it definite, if I understand him, that rather than giving him discretion to use either of the two. But for me, either electronic or me standing up to say is open. The two are the same.
Yes.
Voting by secret ballot, which shall be conducted by the clerks at table, using the list of the members elect of the House, who shall each be given a ballot paper to cast his votes with the proposer and seconder and as tellers. I think we should delete that completely. Oh, it's been deleted. Okay. Sorry. Thank you.
What's your point of order?
Very well, sir. When 2 or more members elect are nominated and seconded as Speaker, and where the 2 or more accept, the election shall be conducted as follows. Electronic voting, and then that's number 1. Then the third item says every member shall, I think that 3-2 should come forward before 1. I'm talking about procedure now, the steps to take before getting to either electronic or the voting. The procedure itself.
Then division, then voting. You can't vote, you can't start voting without division. Since the rule says you divide the House first, then you vote. In the process of voting, some people may abstain. You won't know. No, sir. You have to divide the House first. Sir, it's the process.
Is inclined to agree that you have to divide before you start voting. You can't start voting procedure and then now divide the House. Honorable.
Confusion or not clear what happens, then it calls for division. So you can't, if you divide the House, you don't vote it. When you call, if you're maintaining what you are saying by openly saying, and the teller say, no, we don't agree, then you divide the House. You don't divide the House first. What I'm saying is that you do your voting, then if at the counting and teller say that then it's okay, divide the House for clarity. Is that the normal convention? Agree. So are we going to amend that fundamental norms?
The ayes have it. So 3 is carried. Before we carry, what? So let's make progress. 3, carried. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. There is no observation in the rules. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 14. Page 16. We passed it to 15. What's your amendment? What's your amendment, Luke?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The chairman, sir. Mr. Chairman, Rule 6, that's rules of debate. And then 4, on the proposed amendment, on no member states, no member other than a principal officer, unless invited by the Speaker, shall approach the Speaker when the House is in session, but on matter or matters requiring urgent attention of the Speaker. It may be communicated through the Chief Whip. I beg to add, and the Minority Whip. The Chief Whip and the Minority Whip, sir. In the spirit of joint task. In the spirit of joint task. Okay, sir.
Aye. Those against, please say name. The nays have it. Page 16. Page 17. Page 18. Page 19. Page 20. Page 21. Page 22. Page 23. Page 24. 25. 26. Page 27. Page 28. Amendment. Page 20, Dr. Salame. Honorable Salame, our committees shall be standing committee. You want us to add the word standing? You want us to add the word standing? Those any second that to that, please. Honorable.
Second, the amendment as moved by Honorable Salame. I saw second. Thank you.
I think what Honorable Salame was saying is that if you leave it at without adding the word standing, that means the select committee will be appointing ad hoc, will be appointing all committees. Anyway, let's put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The nays have it.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
It's 2, sir.
Yes, it's a relationship with the judiciary. Mr. Speaker, it has to do with suspension of members, maybe because I have been a victim of that.
What page?
The page 17. It is in your own interest. It is in your own interest. Mr. Speaker, it is in your own interest. Mr. Speaker, the court has severally ruled. The court has severally ruled that it is unconstitutional to suspend any member from the parliament. And you yourself, you went public in a publicized interview when I was going through my suspension, and you said it is unconstitutional. And part of what we expect in order to optimize the freedom of members in this chamber is to expunge the issue of suspending members from this chamber. I may not win. Tomorrow you may be the victim because you want to stand for your right. I want to be put in record that this thing is not in tandem with our rules. The judiciary has ruled that it is unconstitutional and we should sustain it. Thank you very much. Yes. Mr. Speaker, the court did not rule that we don't have power to suspend. The court only mentioned that the House can only suspend people in 14 days. Read. Now, one, the Powers and Privileges Act specifies suspension. That is the law signed by Mr. President. But what the court is limiting the National Assembly to do is limiting them to within the period of 14 days. That you cannot go more than 2 weeks